Hello everyone, hello. Welcome again to this channel where we will be talking about Fedora infrastructure applications and demoing some of the fixes that you can do in them. Alright, just join in. I'm a little late today, as usual you might say. And alright, let's see who's around. Alright, let me set up my things. Is the sound okay? That's a good question. Let me check that. Alright. Okay. Hey Linka, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Alright. Okay, it's still... Yeah. Twitch is still telling me that there is nobody in the chat. Well, there is obviously someone. So yeah, might. Yeah. I guess I'm still not used to that thing. Anyway. Um, alright, so what do we have today? That's always interesting to see what are the easy fixes that we have around these days. Okay, so let me go to Fedora Infra applications yet. Yeah, I'm thinking there's one of them that is a bit lower down the stack that I think is interesting, and I might want to have a look at it. But first, let's start with these. Um, okay, Anitya, not something for now. Hey, Olomatic Swagmaster, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. All right, Bodhi. All right, username doesn't work if username contains hyphen. That's a bit too bad. We could have a look at that, I guess. Thanks. Happy Friday to you as well. All right, fast JSON. Yeah, that's documentation issues. Fed message been replaced. This one as well. Federal messaging. Okay. FMN. All right. We can still have a look at FMN. There is still the possibility of looking at the footer to email the add a footer to email notifications issue. Let me check. I think I had a text editor with some of the existing issues. All right. So I'm gonna try and paste that in a poll. So there's the two FMN issues that we've been talking about earlier. There is one on Noggin, if I understand correctly, going down here. Yeah, there's one on Noggin about the OTP field on Noggin form. It's very simple, it's just HTML. In modern HTML, you can have a regex that validates an input field. So, pretty cool. So there's that. Next issue. Oh yeah, this one here needs to be removed because it's been done last week. And I think this one as well. All right. So Tahrir is going to be replaced. It's being rewritten at the moment, by the way. Badger server, same stuff. This one is waiting on an update of the server before we can deploy it, so not right now. There's release monitoring. Okay, and I saw one or a couple of interesting ones on not Epsilon, created over 8 years ago. Oh, yeah, not bad. On Pagure messages, so not on Pagure itself, but on Pagure messages, there are two things that have been reported recently. This one was created a month ago. This one has been created very recently. Basically, the way that it's extracting users. So for the first one, let me save that one first. All right, I'm gonna put that one here. So the issue is that it doesn't extract the list of usernames properly when when there is a comment added to a pull request. When you're a user and you comment on a pull request, of course, you are affected by the thing because you just did it, but the owner of the pull request is also affected. But they are not listed in the username, so that should be added. It's going to be that will be a Fedora messaging schema. I think that's interesting because messaging schemas are one of the easiest thing you can get into when you want to hack on a Fedora infrastructure applications. It's going to be very simple and it's going to have an impact on notifications so for everyone. Well, I think that's a pretty good trade-off. The other one is about improving the message sent when there's a commit sent on a push, because it doesn't contain the diff anymore. It used to contain the diff, and I think that the person wants to have it back. Let me check. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. We could do that as well. Okay. Right. I'm gonna add that to my list, and I'm going to start the poll. Oh, yeah, there's more people already. Okay, good. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So, okay. Feel free to ask me questions if you have any about this or other things going on. I'm here to discuss things with you, so yeah, it's all good. Okay, last option is going to be pack your messages as well. Okay, anything else you want me to have a look at? Like others issues that you think might be small and that I could have a look at? That I'm totally open to suggestions. It doesn't have to be something from this list. I've made this list because it's easy for me to pick from, but if you have other suggestions, I'm very open. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to listen to that and maybe reply, because there's always some round trip time between the time that I say something and the time that you hear it. All right, that's hopefully a bit better. So you don't hear me screaming in your ear anymore. Is the sound fine? It doesn't seem to cut off, so I hope the volume is okay. Otherwise, yeah, just tell me and I'll adjust it. Okay, then let's start with this. This is poll. Okay, thanks. Let's start with this poll. You should be able to see something on your screen, ideally. Um, yeah. What is this? Hmm. All good. Okay, do I see something on my poll? Okay, there is a 50-50 there is a 50-50 tie, I think that's the name, but it's all on FMN. So it's likely that we're going to be having a look at FMN today. So there's one vote for adding a footer to email notifications, and the other one for so the UI thing is the other issue with FMN, which was it's a bit too easy to miss the final commit step in creating a rule, in case you want to change your vote or yep. First, let me start with FMN because we are going to need it. So I'm going to open the terminal, one that is a bit bigger so you can read it. Right, that should be much better. Okay, I'm going to start Visual Studio Code. It's opening in Fedora messaging. That's not what I want to have a look at today. Okay. Okay. All right, and I want to make things a bit bigger so you can read them. Okay, hopefully that's readable now. So it's going to be, we're going to be either touching the UI or touching the sender, the backend, the yeah. So let me do a small introduction about that, by the way. Basically, in FMN, so FMN has many different structures. There is a front end. That is one of the things that we're going to look at. It's entirely JavaScript, and it makes HTTP queries to the backend. The backend has a REST API, so that's the I shouldn't say backend. I should say API because there's multiple parts in the backend. So excuse me. So there is an API that the front end talks to, and then there is a consumer that listens to everything on the bus. Everything on the bus goes through this consumer, and the consumer is going to look in the database whether the incoming message matches a rule, and if it does, then it's going to look at the rule and see where this rule wants to send the notifications. The notifications can be sent to IRC, to email, to matrix, and depending on the destination, it's going to send another message, but not to the bus, to an internal message queue. That is so it ends up in the message queue internally to FMN, and you have other components that are responsible for sending those messages to their destination. There is one for email, there is one for IRC, and there is one for matrix. The one that we're going to touch, if we look at option 1, is the email sender. That's where you can have the richest messages, you can have a subject, you can have a footer, etc. So we are going to be touching that. And yeah, so that's it. It's still a tie. So I think we can start with the first one on my list, which is email notifications. Is that fine? All right, cool. So the FMN module in Python here has a lot of submodules, but the one that we're going to be looking at is sender. Sender here. Okay, so before I dive into this, let's do the things properly. Let's open the message. So let's close this poll first. That's not the thing that I want to look at. Let's close this poll first. Okay. And now let's go back to the ticket. Okay, that's this one, 895. All right, so that big enough? Yeah, should be. So first thing I do if I want to work on something is assign it to myself. So people know that I'm going to work on that in case it takes a bit of time, more than a day. That's interesting. That's always interesting for other people to know, especially when you work with people who are in different time zones. Because while you think, oh, I'll finish it in the morning, there might be an entire day for someone else going on during your night. So, you know, yeah, that's always a good thing to do. So I sign into myself, and now I'm going to extract FMN. I think I have an existing extraction here. Um, Right, I do have one. Am I on a generic branch? Yeah. So I'm going to update my branch. What you would do if you were new to FMN is just check out the code, right? Check out the code and create a fork for your changes and add this fork as a remote in Git. If you don't want to bother with all that, I have a small tool called Git PR branch that is going to do the thing for you. Git PR branch, it's a Python module, you can install it. It also has RPMs for Fedora and for other distributions, I think. It's in yeah, it should have other distributions as well. Yeah, it has a Copper repository. So you can use that, and the Copper repo has Fedora and Mageia, apparently. I might be able to add others because it's very simple. It's just a simple Python wrapper. Um, I don't know what else we have in Copper. Probably I could add OpenSUSE, I think. That would make sense. Anyway, um, where was I? Yeah, Git PR branch can also it has a clone command. It's not in the README though. But it has a clone command that is going to clone from GitHub or Pagure and also create a fork for you or ensure that you have a fork and add it as a remote. That's practical. All right, and I'm going to try it and fix issue 895. So I'm going to create a branch in here, create a new branch, fix 895, and there we go. All right, so the person reporting the issue wants to have a footer, right? Yeah, the person reporting the issue is currently myself. So what did I want to do at that time? Well, it's past me, so past me always have weird ideas. Anyway, there should be a link to FMN in the footer, so people can go and edit, disable their rules. That's right. And it would also be nice if I could tell which rule has triggered the notification. So people know that this rule is sending them tons of messages. They want to disable it. Very good suggestion from I think it's Camille. Yeah, Camille. All right. So how is it working at the moment? This email notification. It has yeah. Let me close that for now. So that's the email handler. It is connecting to the internal. It's connecting to the internal message queue, but it's also connecting to the SMTP server, right? That it's doing this in setup. And then handle is the method that is called when there's an incoming message here. So it's basically creating an email message, setting the from, setting some headers if there are headers suggested in the message itself, setting the body, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's very simple. It's basically translating this message thing, which is not really typed here, so that's a bit too bad, into an actual email message that is going to be sent. Mm. By the way, if you want, I don't know if you know that one, but if you want to test sending email without actually sending email, Python by itself is able to emulate an SMTP server just by running that. So let me show you that. It's pretty cool. As with most things Python, it's pretty cool. So if I run this command here, python-m smtpd debugging server, right. Python-m and the name is going to execute the Python module as a command. Some modules are capable of being executed as a command. And this one here, it's creating an SMTP server, and I do not know. Oh, it's probably listening on port. Which port is it? So it has -- help. That's what I typed. Um, mm, 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 mm. No setuid. It's 8025, right? Oh, thank you, Thaphonic. It's not 25 because I'm running that as a regular user. So it's 8025. So now it's running on 8025, right? And I'm going to send an email to that server. So localhost 8025. Yeah, I don't have telnet on this machine. Okay, would NC be working? Oh yeah, that's better. So you see, it's introducing itself as a Python SMTP proxy. That's pretty cool. And I can type hello localhost. Yay. Um, I think it's oh yes. That brings back memories. Um, It should answer something with hello, right? It should say, yeah, not really. Oh, maybe it's because it's NC and I should be running something to terminate the lines? I'm surprised. Let me use my trusted telnet. No, not an L at the end, of course. So I don't know if you know that, but if you type exclamation point twice in the shell, it's going to be pasting here the latest command that you've typed. So if you type something and you forgot to use sudo, you can type sudo, bang bang, and it's working. So let me try telnet now. Ah, that's much better. That's what I like. Okay. Mail from. Oops, sorry. Oh, thank you. That's very useful. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. You at example.com. Okay. I think it's data, no? Yes. And you separate the headers from the body with an empty line. And now you see that the Python SMTP server that was running on the other terminal has very helpfully sent you that message follows subject blah 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 xpeer, and this is the content of an email. So if you want to test sending email, you don't have to make things complicated. Just run Python with the SMTPD module in the command line, and you'll be able to see the email that have been sent. No need for something complex such as Sendria or this sort of thing. All right, that's Cool, but that was absolutely not what I was going to do. But it's fine. We can get distracted. It's all good. So here, this is translating this incoming message as an actual email message and sending it. Okay, so all the content is going to be here, right? It's apparently a dictionary that has a headers key, and the values are going to be the headers, and it has a body key, and that's going to be the content of the body. So all we need to change is going to be in this message here. So what is this? That's a good question. It's all in the consumer itself. So the consumer is the part that connects. It's a common part between the email sender, the matrix sender, the IRC sender. That's the part that connects to the internal message bus with a connect here, connect robust, and then it passes all the messages. So when it connects, it connects to the send dot destination being email or matrix or IRC, etc., etc. And when it starts, it opens an iterator on the queue, and for each message in this iterator, it calls the handler with handle, loading the JSON from the message. So we know the message is going to be JSON. That's all good. But it doesn't tell us what is contained in this message. So who sends those messages? That's easy. That's the consumer. The consumer itself, the main consumer, the one that gets all the messages from the bus, does some processing. Okay, that's all good. Handle, blah, 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 right? And it checks the rule, it gets the rules, and it calls handle on the rules. On each rule, it calls handle with a message, and the rule produces a notification. And this notification is what is going to be sent. So what is generated by the rule? That's a good question. Okay, let's go to the model. Database, model, rule. All right, that's the rule that we're going to get from the database. It has a handle, right? It generates a notification. It generates notifications. That's all good. It's still very coherent. And those notifications come from the generation rule. All right, let us go to the generation rule. Generation rule, unsurprisingly, has handle. This time we have taken the pain to type the function, so we know it's a generator, an iterator of a notification objects. So the notification here is what is going to be sent. All right, but how is it constructed? It's constructed from there is a protocol and there's content, and the content comes from the destination. All right, let us go to the destination. Destination has a generate, and that's how it creates the content. So that's where there is a switch on the protocol, right? If the protocol is email, it's doing this. If it's IRC, it's sending that. If it's matrix, it's sending that. You can see that email is a bit more complex than the rest because it has the ability to have headers, subject, and it has a body, of course. So we want to have a footer, right? That was the initial question. Here we see that we generate the body using using the existing body plus extra. All right, what is extra? It's get extra. Very interesting. So get extra here is a function. It's apparently okay. Oh, it's doing something pretty smart here. So if the incoming message has an attribute called patch URL, it is going to retrieve this patch URL and add it to the body. Nice. Okay, so we're not going to touch that. That's pretty specific. However, what we can do is add a footer for everyone in here. So what do we want to have in this footer? We want to have the link to FMN itself. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to check out that what tests are associated with the destination model. My tests are in tests, and then we follow the same trail of files. So tests, model, no, database, model, test destination. Okay, so here that's a test for email. That's a test for email with extra, and test for IRC, test for matrix. Okay, okay. What I would like to have this test email, but instead of having the body being this, I will change that. Expected body is going to be, that's the existing one, right? Okay, so that shouldn't change anything. Now what I would like to have is a link to FMN itself. So in theory, I should have something like maybe a signature. You know how you do signature in email? It's yeah, it's from the beginning of a line, and you have the dash dash, a space, and then a new line, and that's usually considered a signature in email. And then you would have the link to FMN itself. So HTTP. I think that when you're running in the unit test, FMN is installed in localhost. That would be localhost. Okay, let's imagine we have something like this for now. Of course, this test is not going to pass. Can I run it? I wonder if I can run it. I've never actually tried that. Let me try. Can I run that? Let's see. I do see an error. It kind of looks like the error that I'm supposed to have. But I have another error. I have actually tons of errors. Why is that? Okay, I should not have so many errors here. Or maybe I don't really know how it works in Visual Studio Code because I never really do that. Well, not running the test. I've never really used the test runner in Visual Studio Code, usually because my test runner is a bit complex. I usually want to run it in Tox or run it with PyTest with some specific options, and I'm just more used to PyTest on the command line. Okay, let me try that then. I'm in FMN. Let me try to run. What environments do I have? Okay, Py 3.11, or do I have poetry running? Okay, I do have a virtual environment with poetry. Okay, PyTest, and I want the, well, it's going to be in tests, and I want the, it's called test email. Is this gonna work? We'll see. Time to remove my infusion from my team. Oh yeah, I do not need the coverage when I'm running a partial test suite. No cov. Thank you very much. Okay, one failed, four passed. One failed. Okay, that's the one that I was expecting to fail. All good. The body here is not what I wanted because I haven't changed anything yet. Nice. Now let's change the code. Which means that this was actually correct. I could run it from here, right? Maybe I could. I'll try to stay in Visual Studio Code, see if that works. Okay, so that's our test destination. Okay, now I want to go back to destination, and I'm going to change that. I want the body to contain the URL to FMN. How do I know what it is? Well, that's a good question, because here I am not running in Flask, right? So I do not know I'm not responding to a request, so I can't extract the URL from the request itself as Flask, as is what Flask usually does. So But it's likely that there are other places where I have needed to generate a URL to FMN itself. So it's likely that there's a setting somewhere that I will be able to use. If there's a setting, it's probably in the config. So let me look at the config. Oh, there's constants here, but that's not the one. Config. There are URLs, but that's to Pagura and FastJSON. There are not URLs to FMN itself. I could be using course origin, but that's really dirty. Because it's not, yeah, that's not why it's there. Okay. Huh. Maybe I don't have a URL for FMN itself. Hmm. Interesting. I could have a look at this seed if it's somewhere else in the code. Okay. It's in the configuration for the front end, obviously, because there's the API, but it does not. It's not in the. Okay, I don't have it. So this course origin thing, I think it can be. I think it can be more than a string. Like it can have. It can be a space separated list of values actually. Let me check what we set that to in Ansible. It's called course origin. Is that right? Course origin with an S. Okay, it is set here in the FMN configuration template to only one string, which is the expected address of FMN. You know what? For now, let's just reuse that. Actually, that's a bad idea. I would much prefer having a different value that would use course origin as default. Sounds better. So that's the setting. I would prefer having something called public URL maybe, and course origin default to public URL. Would that work? No, that wouldn't work. What should I do? Can I do something like this? Like having it default to another value? Let's check. Let's check because that comes from pydantic settings. By the way, I said Flask, but it's not Flask in FMN, it's Fast API. But it's the same thing. When you want to create a URL to your application, when you're in a web application, you usually look in the request itself. And here we don't have any. Okay, pydantic settings. Pydantic settings. Okay, documentation, thank you very much. All right. I want to have a value that has for default some other value. How would I be able to do that? Check the field documentation, that sounds good. Validation for default value, well, yes, but no. Environment variable names. Case sensitivity, no. Environment variable names, no. Secrets, that's not the case. Okay, let's look at fields. Fields can have aliases, but that's not what I want. I don't want to have a second name for the same thing. I want to have a second value that can differ but will default to the same. Default values, of course. Ah. So it can accept a default factory, but I will not get the current setting if I do that. Yeah. So, won't work. I'm making my life more complex than necessary here because I could just say that um, I have only one public URL and all the cause origin is going to default from here. Yeah, I could do that, I suppose. And cause origin here will be an alias to. Okay, let's do an alias then. Field blah 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 alias equal. So let's do this. Field. Well, let's. Do I have the field imported? I need this. Pydantic settings. Oh, from Pydantic. Okay, it's from Pydantic import field. Nice. Field. All right. And now, where was I? I was here. Field. The default is going to be this alias equal cores origins. So if I do this, I will need to change Ansible so that it overwrites public URL and not cores origin. But it's fine. I'll do it. I'm sure I will not forget. I never forget this sort of thing. Anyway, okay, public URL. So now we have the public URL defined in our settings. Of course, this has been set in multiple places. Yeah, you see, I can have multiple values here. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that makes more sense. I should just have different values, and that's all. And not worry myself. It's going to be a bit more troublesome for people because they will have to write the same thing in two different places, and I kind of dislike that. I don't like repeating oneself, but I guess it's more flexible. So let's just do this. Okay, now I have a public URL, and I don't have to change anything. Let's go to destination right here. And now I just have to add. So body new line, dash dash space new line, and the URL now. So where's my configuration? Do I have it? Apparently I don't have it. It's fine. How am I supposed to get the configuration here? Where is it set? If I remember correctly, it's just get config, but I would prefer checking. Yeah. All right. It's not really here. Fine. That's the thing. Get settings. Okay. So now I'm using get settings and my settings here. And it's settings dash setting dot public URL. It's not. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, get settings is not defined as giving me a. Wait. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, that's one more. Yes. Okay, get settings is here. Okay. Right. Now I know it's a settings object, and now I know that it actually has public URL. Yeah, you see, colors are useful sometimes. Anyway, let me start the test again. Which one was it? This one. Start again, please. So here I have an assertion error because notification.fedora.project.org. Exactly. Exactly. I was testing something that couldn't work. I was expecting localhost, except I'm not getting that value from the request because there isn't any request. So it's notifications.fedoraproject.org. Of course, that's going to be a little too long. So I'm going to reformat that. Dummy content. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. How about that now? Oh, I'm running all the tests. Oh, yeah. Get. Yeah, no, I'm just running this test. Okay. What's the difference? What's the difference, please? Oh, yeah. There's a slash. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah. You're right. This has to match. Okay. So this has to match very well. And now, um, so now this should work now. Yes. That's good. I have the link to the notification. So now there is a link to the instance for people to click on. I should probably put something better, right? Like sent by Fedora notifications, something like this. A bit prettier. Okay. And now what would be nice would be if I were able to have actually a link to the rule itself. I don't know if I can do that, but I can try. I'm not running, so here I'm running in the consumer, so I'm not running in FastAPI. I can't use the FastAPI rules, or maybe I can. Maybe I can. Maybe I can import it, but I don't want the consumer to be starting FastAPI, like importing the whole thing or starting stuff. And so I want to make very sure that I would prefer not hard coding the URL because I can know which rule ID it is, because here I'm linked to a generation rule, and this generation rule is itself linked to a rule itself, an actual rule. So generation rule goes here, and this is linked to rule. So I could get that information. But I would prefer not to. Yeah, I don't know what's best. If I wanted to get the info, let's try to do that going through FastAPI and FastAPI's route. I could be importing the API. It's starting to be a bit big, right? I mean, here we're in the models. Do we want to import from FastAPI in the models? I don't think so. Seems like a poor separation of concerns, no? Let's see. Let's try it and see if it's really dirty, which it might very well be, but let's try it, right? Okay. So API and then main. I would look at the app, look at its roots. Okay, so let's have a look at the fast API docs. So I have a fast API application, right? I would like to introspect it and look at its roots. How am I going to know that? Mm-hmm. Path parameters. Predefined values, path parameters. Do I have an API doc for fast API applications? That would be nice. Open API, that's not my problem at the moment. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what the docs have. Extending no, raise nodes, path operation, advanced configuration. Yeah, that may be interesting. We have an app.roots here. Okay, okay, that looks good. Okay, let's have a look at that. App.roots. How do I generate... Okay, how do I generate a URL in a FastAPI view? That should be a simple thing. It should be a very simple thing here. That's something that you want to do all the time, right? Um, root. Hmm. Path operation configuration. Okay. I would like to resolve a root. How do you do that? Maybe resolve? No. URL4, that sounds good. You can use URL4 inside of a template. Okay, that's cool. I'm not in a template, but I'm interested in URL4. Where does this come from? This URL4 thing. The doc is not great, no? I mean, it has a lot of things, but it doesn't have an API. Or has it? Hmm. Okay, I mean, okay. Um, do I have something? Yeah, okay, there's people who are asking for that in Stack Overflow, obviously. Fast API is router.url path 4. Ah, that's installed, that's why. Okay. Okay. Right, it's on the framework that Fast API is built on. Okay, that's good. That's all right. I'm going to have a look at the started docs then. Okay, routing. Ah, that's more interesting here. Okay, there are routes. Okay, that's cool. URL reverse URL lookups. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, it was all in. Oh, it was all in install it. Here, it's apparently bound to the URL for. Sorry, it's apparently bound to the request, but I do not have a request. So I hope there will be something else. Okay, application install. Do starlet generate some API? No, API schemas? Maybe. No. It was called URL path 4. Okay, routing API. That's going to be here. URL path 4. So it's in routing. Cool. Ah, okay, it's still in the documentation, so it's not a deprecated feature. Okay, that's fine. We can use that, maybe. So let's go back to the code. Okay, so let's see if it's very, very icky. So here I'm going to do something. Of the rule, well, the rule rated this notification. Good. First, do I know the rule ID? Well, I need to get that. For that, I will need to make a query. Oh, that's a bit too bad because I do not think that I have the session available here. Hmm. I don't think I have the session at that point in time. Message and requester, yes, but not the database. Okay. You know what? Let us assume okay, imagine we are not in an async framework and all the relationships are resolved behind the scenes. Maybe it will be because it might be in the cache. So rule ID is going to be self.generation rule.rule ID. Generation rule is, yeah, it's not really, okay, it's a relationship, and the generation rule has rule ID. Yeah, it does. Cool. Let's say that that's our rule ID. Now we want to have the URL, the rule URL, and that's going to be oh, that's dirty. Should I write that? That's really not pretty. FMN API main import app. I do not like that. What's the name of the view? Oh, but I'm silly. The view is not defined in the backend. The view is defined in the front end. Oh, okay, so I have no way of extracting the rule URL from the backend because I only have the endpoints. All right, in that case, let us see. Yeah, sorry, I have to type that. Where is my phone? Sorry, it takes some time to unlock the whole thing. My phone is kind of slow, so okay. Okay, loading my information. Thank you very much. So this one is rule 1. Okay, that's very simple. It's rules slash the rule number. I think I'm gonna have to hardcode it because I wouldn't be able to get it from the backend anyway. I still need the rule ID though. But here I'm going to assume this. I wonder if that will work. Let's try. Where is my it's here. Fail. Yes. Self.generation rule is none because it's not resolved actually. It's a relationship. I will need to get that information from the database. I will need to make a query for that. And is there a way to get the session from the object itself? I think there is. So there used to be a way to get the session from the instance, from the model instance in SQL Alchemy, but that was for synchronous applications. I would be curious to see if there's the same thing for asynchronous connections. Let us look at the doc. SQL Alchemy. What I am looking for is something that used to be called session or object session maybe? I think it was called object session. Yes, it was called object session. Ah, there is an async one apparently. Okay, so that was the synchronous one, object session. Is there async object session? Is that available? Oh, that would be great. Ooh, it would be great if that worked. Except we're not running with 1.4. We are running with 2.0. Hopefully that still works. Okay, it's here. Async object session. Nice. I'm surprised that it's exed in the extension async IO. I thought it was all brought back to the main line, but maybe not. Let's try that. Okay, let's try that. That would be cool. That would be very cool if we could pull that off. From SQL Alchemy. ext async IO import async object session. Okay. Right. So now I should be able to make a query. So async object session of self, right? And now I should be able to do something like session.execute. Well, it's going to be an await. Select generation rule, which I already have. Yeah, I need to have a select from SQL Alchemy. Thank you very much. Select object. Where ID, well, generation rule dot ID is equal to self dot generation rule ID. Okay. Fetch or scalar. There should be only one, obviously. And now I have the generation rule, which means that a rule ID is just the generation rule dot rule ID. Oh, that should be better. Any change that will work? I do not know. Let's try. Okay, failing. What's wrong this time? Non-type object has no attribute execute. Oh, okay. So the session here that I got from this one is actually none. So why did this return none? It's either async session or none. Okay, fine. Huh. Oh, instance state.async session. That's interesting as well. Hmm. You know, apparently it's been garbage collected, which is weird. I'm surprised because, I mean, I don't understand why it would have been garbage collected. Because we're still using it. We're still running from here. Handle. So the rule exists. You know what? Let's print some things. I'm curious. I'm very curious. See if that works. If that works, that'd really be cool. So for now, when I'm handling a message in the rule, I am going to try to extract the session from here. Is this none? That's a good question. Let's try. It is going to be none this time, because here, I mean, I'm pretty close to the session itself. What did it print? It's really too small. I mean, I'm not. I really prefer running it in here, because here I have more space for the errors. Maybe I'll do this, but not on streaming when I make everything bigger. Oh, but I'm silly. Of course there is no session because, yeah. Ah, sorry. So, the way this test is built does not contain a session. Because I'm not retrieving the destination from the database, I'm just creating the instance itself. Alright, so I'm going to have to create the entire thing. Alright, I'm going to have to create a rule and then create a destination, etc., etc., etc. Do I have something that could help me with this? Yeah, I'm sure it could be mocked. Um, but I'm not sure it would be the right way of doing it because um, I don't really know exactly where the session is held in the instance, in the model instance. It's probably in some internal attribute that may be changed by the libraries. So what I could do, on the other hand, is create the rule, create the generation rule, create the destination, and then get that from the database again. And this time it's going to be linked to a session, and I should be able to make it work. Okay, so test rule. Yeah, here we're obviously creating the things. So here we have something called make mock message. That would be nice also. Yeah, see, I'm creating a tracking rule, creating a generation rule, creating a user, creating, I suppose, generation. I suppose I'm creating the rule as well. So I'm going to use this instead. It sounds better, I think. Okay. Apparently there is already a rule in that database at that point. Hmm. Maybe that's a very smart thing that is done by this. Meh, maybe not. Um, if I look at test rule here, I have yeah, the model test base. What does that do? CRS attributes. Okay, it's able apparently to create the object. What's this? Where does this come from? There's some sort of API here that I'm not really understanding. Oh, DB object. Okay. Create an object of a testil model type. Oh, but that's pretty cool. Uh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to try and do the same thing. That's the destination. Except I'm not in a class here. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You know what? I'm going to just use a fixture. By test, fixture. Come on, you can do it. PyText fixture, async def rule obj, and it's going to need the session which is named db async session. Thank you. It's going to need this, and I'm going to just create it and be done with it, you know. So I need a user. That's okay. I'm going to need a user. I'm going to need a tracking rule. And I'm going to need a generation rule. Okay, I'm going to try to insert or to create the rule itself. Rule equal model rule with user equal user, tracking rule equal tracking rule, generation rule equal generation rules. Fine. And now db async session.add rule. And I suppose that I need to commit this. Do I? Um, um, do I need to do that? Of course I do. I add the object and I flush it. And then I roll back. That's actually a pretty good pattern. Let's keep it. Okay. Yield the rule. Okay, now I think it's going to be associated with a session. So here in test email, I'm going to get my rule. And I have my destination here. And I'm going to add the destination to my generation rule. Is that right? Can I do this? Because when I look at my generation rule, it has multiple destinations. Yes, it has multiple destinations. So that's going to be this. Excuse me. All right. Generation rule, 0 destination. Okay. All right. Let's see what I get printed now. I'm very interested if I get things in my session. Okay. I said that I would not use this because the screen is too small. I'm going to do it here. It should keep failing. That would make sense. But maybe it will fail differently. My session is still none, so it's still unable to get the session. And here, fix the rule not found. Huh? Yes, of course. Well, yeah, it's not called rule, it's rule object. Try again. Yep. Of course, you change something, you have to change it. There were these helpful little wavy lines in red that would have told me that I forgot something, but I wanted to go too fast. Okay. The session is still not right. But the session is still not right. Maybe it's not associated with the. Let's try the same thing in rule here. The same thing that we were doing, except let's do it in the test and see if that changes things. Okay, I've set this. Oh yeah, of course I have to add it to the session. And I need to do a okay. Of course, if it's not in the session, well, it's not going to be associated with one. That any better? Ooh, I like that. Ah, that's much better. Not null constraint generation rule ID. Right. Right. Now that I have the rule, I need to do this. Generation rule equal rule obj dot generation rule. Oh, generation rules, like the first one. Yes. Now, if I want to add it to the database, it has to be coherent with the schema. For now, it's still good. Huh. The error is different this time. It is failing. I think it's failing where I want it to fail. So there's still this error here, but this one is for email with extra that I haven't touched yet. This one, though, is more interesting because it's failing in destination line 55, or 54, I mean, and that's here. So I expect to be one generation rule, and okay, you know what? That's better, because that means that my session isn't actually null this time. That's pretty good. Okay. What's my generation rule ID? Oh, maybe there's none, because it hasn't been inserted in the database yet. Maybe there is. We'll see. Okay, what is going on? None. Yeah. Right. So my generation rule is it's still none. So that's probably because here I have just made a flush. I haven't really added it to the database. So I don't think it has generated any IDs. Or maybe it has. Let's check. What's the ID for this one? One, it has something. Then, you know what? Don't try to do something too convoluted when we can just manipulate integer. It's always better. Let's try again. Oh. Ho 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 ho. That looks much better. That looks much, much better. Okay. That looks much, much better. Yes. Okay. Okay. We're getting there. Let's clean it up a bit. let's clean it up. Let's clean it up a bit, and let's do the same thing for the other one, um, for the second email with extra thing. So I'm not going to be. I'm going to need the rule object and the DB async session, and I'm going to add this to my destination creation, to my new destination, and I'm probably going to have to do that as well, because I want them to be linked. I wonder if that's necessary. It's probably not necessary. You know what? Let's not do this part. I'm not sure it's necessary. Let's try it. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's looks pretty good. Hmm. What's this? Oh yeah, of course. Haha. Nice. Okay. So that was not necessary. We just needed to add the the destination to the session for it to be linked. Which makes sense. I mean, that's normal. Okay, so now all the email will have sent by Fedora notifications in the footer with a link to the rule that has created this notification. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Um, Save that. Let me add a news fragment because that otherwise I'm always going to forget that. Where are my news fragments? In news, obviously. Where's news? Changelog.d. Okay. So that's a new feature. So there is also a way to create them on the command line. It's poetry run town crier create. I think it's town crier create. Yes, and I can have feature. Yes. So it's 895.feature. Uh, oh, it's added, not feature. Okay. Add your info here. Add a footer to email notifications with a link to the rule that generated. How about that? Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to add that to Probably going to use the same fixes 895. Okay, what are the changes that I have? All this is... No, that's not a change. No, thank you very much. No, that's definitely not a change. Sender.uml, did I change something? Nope. Yes, I definitely changed that one. Destination, definitely change that one as well. Huh, that's getting pretty nice. Rule, yeah, I don't really need to do that. That's just a blank line, really. Revert it. Yes, I want to discard that change. And that's, yeah, of course, that's a lot of change in this one. Okay, add it. And now, if I click commit, it should be running pre-commit, and it failed. Ruff was unhappy because there was a line too long in destination line 55. I can fix that. I can definitely fix that. Line, hey, wait, line 55. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. That's a bit too long. It should be a bit better and it should be clear what's going on. Are you happy pre-commit now? It looks like it. Okay. I'm going to try and run all the tests and see if we are still good. For that, I'm going to run tox because I want to check coverage. Oh, the linting and the blacken should be good because it's done by pre-commit as well. Alright, we're getting there, we're getting there. If I remember correctly, the tests in FMN aren't that long to run, so it should be fine. Ah, there are failing tests. So we'll have to investigate that. It's in test consumer and test rule. But the coverage is good. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Test consumer. Which line? In sender? No, in consumer. It's called test consumer call tract. Okay. Test consumer call tract, this one. Yes, of course the body has changed. That's going to be way different. Body of message on dummy topic. Okay, let me fix that. Test consumer line 360, that's the one? No, that's not the one. 149. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Should have used VV because that's would have gotten the entire thing. That would have been preferable. Um, Let me add that. Okay. I don't think it's rule 2, but it's fine for now. I'm going to rerun this file anyway. And the other one is on line 360. I bet it's the same thing. Trust. What was it this time? Expected send to have been called 2 times. That's no, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. This one is it's expecting send to have been called once and it's been run 2 times. That's not correct. Test consumer duplicate. Ah, that's another problem. But you know what? Let us run just this file. Test consumer. Oh, I should have removed the coverage because that's going to be useful. Not going to be useful at all. Of course. Wait, what? Okay, let's just run test consumer then. Going to be running more than I want to, but that's fine. Okay, so what is going on here? The first one is expected. Or at least I think it was. Difference was, did I save it? Didn't even save it. Of course. It's rule 1, so that will have failed anyway. 149, because I've put rule 2 here. Okay. And that's how many? 3 new lines at the end. Is that right? 3 lines. Okay, that one should be right. Okay, the other one now. What's going on? Send is called twice. Hmm. Would I have introduced an actual bug? Okay. Okay, so the point of this function, of this feature, is to deduplicate the notifications, right? Because if you have multiple rules that generate a notification for if you have you have a message and it matches multiple rules, you don't want to generate a notification, multiple notifications of the same time, of the same type. So here, I'm handling the message. Okay, should generate a notification. Okay. And it's failing at 363. I'm not even looking at the right thing. Right. So what's going on in here? Okay. Create two identical rules. Fine. Rule, blah, blah. Okay. Session add rule. Create the rules. Okay. Artifact follow. Okay. Generation rule. Generation. Okay. Append the destination. When you a different destination each time. Okay. Okay. Make mocked message. Okay. And handle now. Okay. How is it handled? How do you deduplicate them? Is it in the generation rule? I suspect that would be in the consumer. Huh. I don't remember how it's done. Where does this deduplication come from? Like, okay, you have two different rules. Okay, yeah, that's probably in the consumer. Because notifications is a set, right? So if I add two notifications that are identical, oh, but they're not identical anymore. They're not because, oh, yep, they have, so, huh. That would have been, that's interesting. That's why it's useful to have unit tests. Because I would have actually introduced a regression here. Um, when you have two rules that generate the same notification, they are deduplicated, except this time the notification looks different because of the footer of the email that points to different URL because they are generated by different rules. So the URL is different, and as a result, they are not deduplicated. Okay, okay, that makes sense. So what do we want to do here? Um, uh, compare. What do you want me to do with this? Revert file. There you go. Thank you. Okay, so I would still like those to be deduplicated if I have different rules that generate the same notification. I would still like them to be deduplicated. That's more important. That means that I can't do this way. I can't do this as I have expected it to do because yeah, I can't. Or, oh yes, yes, I can do something different. Okay, all right, it's gonna be a bit tricky, but we'll manage. So here, instead of editing the body, we're going to leave the body as is, but we're going to add a new field called footer, right? We're creating a dict here, okay? So it's all good. Instead of doing this, we're going to do footer, and we're going to put the sent by Fedora notifications here. Yes. So don't change the footer, just put it here. All good. The difference is now that I have a notification. When I create a notification, I compare notifications, I may be able to not look at footer when I'm comparing them. Okay, so where do the notifications come from? I'm betting it's here. Nope, it's generating by generation role. Okay, yes. Notification comes from here, that's the class. Email notifications has a body, and it now also has a footer. Okay. When I am comparing two notifications, I would like to ignore the footer. Sorry, when I'm comparing two email notifications, I would like to ignore the footer. All those are frozen models based on base model by Pydantic. Let me have a look at Pydantic and see if I can control the comparison between two Pydantic objects. Usage, API documentation. Maybe usage first. Let's see. Let's see if I have something to do to some API that I could use to control how two objects are compared with each other. That may be interesting. Oh, that's generic Python. Okay. Maybe I can search for equality instead of comparison. Okay, the EC migration guide, the EC model has changed for models. Type field values. Let's try to do something different. Okay, that's tricky, but maybe it'll work. That's going to be fun if it works. So let's define equal. That's the function that is going to be called when an object is compared to another. If my object is of the same class, then I would like to compare them without the footer. Wait a minute, can I do that copy? Looks like I can, but I would like to make sure. Usage, copy, probably going model copy. How can a copy of the model? Okay, perfect, perfect. Is it model? Yes, it's a model. So it's model copy. Okay. And now I'm going to compare them without their footer. Self copy. And I'm comparing them. I don't. Oh yeah, super. Okay, I am not sure whether that'll work, but I can try. So there are failures, that's normal. Unhashable type, okay. It was written in the documentation that if you implement, well, not the documentation, sorry. It was written in this answer that if you implement EC, it is going to make your class unhashable. Yes, that's strange. It means that, yeah, I wonder if there is a way to implement ec. Does it have a hash function here? Okay. Huh. Is there a way to make my model hashable even if I've implemented ec? Dunder ec. I'm surprised because my model was hashable before. I've just implemented ec and now it's not hashable anymore. So what changed? Just me. You know what? I'm surprised. I mean, there must be a way for in Pydantic to have your classes, your models hashable. This is close. This must have been implemented in 2020. Let's have a look at the source. Okay, the Pydantic. Ah, yeah, okay. See, it does have things. So I'm here from a base model, right? So let's see. So base model is going to be in the top of Pydantic. Okay, base model. Where does this come from? From types import equal. Is it here? Who defines base model? Class base model. Okay. Thank you. Very simple. It's defined in main. Thank you. Could have said it before. So base model has this meta class as a constructor. Does it have a hash? Doesn't look like it. Model construction, model meta class. Wait, what's model construction? Where does this come from? From internal. Okay, that's very clear that I shouldn't touch it. Okay, does it have hash? I'm looking for an implementation of hash that I could use for my function. set default hash func. Huh. Let's just use that. That looks good. I can like it. This looks like a good hash function. Seems reasonable. Self class tuple dict values. That seems good. Let's run it now. All right. My send is still called 2 times, which is not good, which means it's still not deduplicated, but we'll work it out. Here I have a validation error. Oh yes, yes, because footer needs the default value. Yeah. It should be none. It can have a default value of none. So of course it's string or none, you know. Is it how I do things here? Literal, check string. Yeah, it's fine. I wonder if it's using union usually, but I could see that in the config. In the config, do I have something called do I have unions when it's none? Oh, I do the same thing. Okay. Okay, so I'm allowed to create notifications with no footer. Well, for footer equal, if there is no footer, it's going to be none. Fine. Now I still have the same problem. Oh, no, fading. Validation error. Instance is frozen. Wait, what? Did I put it in the wrong place? I can totally do that. Where's my notification? Oh, no, it's better if you save something. Okay, haven't saved it. Still have the validation error. Okay. I'm creating here the email notification content with body with headers. And it's unhappy because instance is frozen. What's wrong with frozen instance? What's the problem with a frozen instance? What's frozen, by the way? Let's look at the doc. Why did I make things frozen? Frozen. Okay, what's that? Is that what I have, frozen field? Instance is frozen. Okay. You attempt to assign a value to a field with frozen equal true. Well, yeah. Frozen instance, okay, that's the one. And I attempt to assign a new value to any of the fields. That's right. Am I setting a new value here? I don't think I do. I don't think that's what I'm doing. Oh, yes. That is what I'm doing. Sorry. Hey. Yes, that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing a copy, and then I'm assigning something. Ah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, that's a mistake. Um, so I want to make a copy. Or, I could just turn it into a dict and just compare the dicts. No. Models, thank you. I'm just trying to compare things. So, oh yes, model dump. Okay, model dump is better. List of fields to exclude. Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so I could do something like return self.model dump exclude equal footer and exclude the footer, and that's all. Of course, that's a bit too long for a line, but you get the idea. No, it's happy. Okay, nice. Okay, so I want to compare the dumps with excluding the footer. That's even better. Nice. All right. What am I doing here? Assert n.content equal blah blah blah. Oh yeah. Oh yes, of course. Yes, of course, of course. That's not the same thing. The body doesn't contain it anymore. That's good. 149. That's much better. Because that's a normal error. In test in what? Where's my test consumer? It's right here. 149. Okay, yes, of course. And it's going to be footer equal this. And the body stays the same without the signature. Alright, and the second one is we still have the same. Do we still have the problem? Yes, it's called twice. Ah. Hmm. To check, I am going to hey, my 314. So Matt 314 says that he refactored one function that did a Prometheus call and pushed the matrix to do an early return, and the function just did just that, one push, one if one push, and it broke 36 tests. Yeah, that happens. That happens. At least I got it in 2 tests. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you change one thing and breaks the world because it's fairly deep. Um, if you do that, if that happens, it can be a sign that you are um, doing integration tests instead of unit tests, which means that you are starting too much of your application to test what you want to test instead of just testing what you want to test in isolation. Um, it's a fairly common issue because it's kind of hard to isolate things and mock things outside of it. It's easier to just start the thing, send the input, get the output, but that's integration testing, not unit testing. And it's necessary, it's very useful, but it's usually longer, takes more time, and you might have these sort of issues. All right. Yes. Yes. What I wanted to do is um, I wanted to look at how I'm generating my notifications in the consumer. Should be. Oh, did I close it? Yeah, apparently I closed it. All good. All good. I'll get it back. Consumer. Yes, right here. Here, that's my set. I'm adding things, and now I'm going to print my set. Because I would like to see what's contained in this set. I'm going to just test this function. I'm pretty sure that there will be two notifications, of course, because that's the root of the problem. But I would like to see how different they are from each other. So there's one here, root equal email notification, blah blah blah. Content is this. Headers, email notification headers, blah blah blah. Body, footer sent by Fedora notifications. Okay, /1. Second one is body, same thing. Footer sent by notification /2. Okay, so that leads me to how does a set deduplicate its elements in Python? Because I have implemented equality, but maybe that's not the right thing to implement. Python set. Well, actually, I'm just going to go to the standard library and look at the set. Here, set types. Okay. Oh, you can't read that, obviously. It's an unordered collection of distinct hashable objects. Oh yeah! It's using the hash. Of course it's using the hash. Of course! It is using the hash itself. Okay, so that makes total sense. The hash is going to be different because the hash of my notification here, the hash contains all the values. And I haven't excluded that. So I need to modify that as well. I need my hash to only contain the value without the footer. Thankfully, I have exactly that. Any chance of it working? I don't know. We'll see. Unhashable type dict. What did I do? Tuple. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. So, it's a tuple of the values. Well, what's going on? Getting the values. Okay. Making a tuple of it. Hashing it. Oops. Sorry. Well, no, that should be right. What's that? model dump.values. That's what's this? Please print it. Okay. Please print this. Okay, values. So tuple, because tuples are hashable. So do you need to wrap it in the tuple? I think so, but I thought it was already wrapped. See, there's a tuple here that wraps this entire thing. If I yeah, that's an iterator values, and then it's wrapped in tuple, and tuples are hashable. I'm curious. Okay, I still have an unhashable type dict, but I'm not. Oh, wait, that's. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Um. Right. One of my values is a dict. Tricky. So I don't need to do model dump. I don't actually have. Yeah. Yes. So yes, model dump is dumping recursively. I don't want to do that. I want. Yes. I don't want to dump recursively. I just want a shallow dump. Can model dump do that? Good question. Let's have a look at the doc. Model dump. Okay. Include exclude by alias. Okay. Warnings. Round trip. Mode. Python. Huh. Yeah, it's fine. It's most Python is fine because it's otherwise it might be forgetting the headers, and I do not want that. I want the headers to be there. Model JSON schema. I want something actually much simpler. You know what? I'll just use what was there before. So before that, instead of this, I had self.dict dot values. Yes. Self.dict.values, that worked. Okay, let me just print the result. That worked because then it's going to give me, instead of dumping the headers, it's just going to give me the header object, and this one is hashable. See, I have the email notification headers here, which is hashable. So I want to do the same thing. What I want to do is remove the footer. So I'm just going to do it a little more, yeah, it's going to be a bit more dirty, but that's fine. Values equal, wait, uh, yes, yeah, well, yes, values or, yeah. I'm just copying it. That's a shallow copy, which is fine. And I'm going to remove the. Yeah, that's not awesome, but it'll do. That may work. Yeah, it passes. So let me just print what I want, what I have printed, because I want to check that um, it's hashing using the right things. It's hashing using email notification headers, okay, and subject and body. Fine, fine. Okay, that works. So my hash doesn't contain the footer anymore. I should print some doc. Hopefully that's clear enough. Like if I spend too much time on something and I'm not even sure what I did, it's clearly something that I should document, because I mean I would be happy to read that documentation six months from now. So let alone somebody else. Okay, so now this one works. Let's try the other one. Of course, on my tests that I did first with the, the body, etc., etc., that's all gonna fail, because all those tests here, the test consumer, that's fine, but the test destination, that's all going to fail, because that's where I've put the body inside, inside the, yeah, see here, expected body. Nope, nope. Footer. And actually, expected body, it's fine if it's just, yeah, like, I don't need this. I'm just going to put it on one line. Same thing for the second one. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, that's failing. The two tests failed as before. And now let's try it again. Assertion error. Oh, okay. Fine. And this one? Okay. I was all wrong with my new lines. This one is wrong, and this one is wrong as well. Okay, that works. All right, so now what we've done is have a bigger object coming down from the destination notification. And we will need to change the sender as a result of that. The sender, instead of, it's taking the header, putting in the mail header, taking the body, putting in the mail body, but this time it has to do something else. It has to be a little bit smarter, not too much, but just a little bit. Sender here, email, right. This one now needs to do the concatenation in the body that we couldn't do before, right? No. Message body, okay. If message.get footer is not none, then body new line, yeah, space new line, messaged footer. All right, and now we're going to have to test that, obviously, because the smartness is here now, and we will need to check that. So it's not test destination. It's going to be called. It's going to be in sender. It's going to be in test email. Sender test email. All right. Test email handle. Test email disconnected. Let's make another one. Test email handle with footer. Blah 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 blah. This is a test. Blah 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 blah. Footer. This is a footer. And I should expect this to contain this is a footer. Did I put a full stop at the end? Yes, I did. Okay. Test email handle. Let's see if that works. Almost. What's wrong? Somebody put a new line somewhere. Yes. There's a new line at the end. Again. It passes. Okay. Now let's try the whole test suite. I'm sure there will be other things that will fail, because I kind of remember other things failing the first time we started it. While it's running, I'm going to add all that to my commits. Where was it? Right here, test email. Obviously, yes. Destination consumer, yes. Yes, 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 yes. This one, no. This four were not. Okay. Can I? Yeah, I can amend to my existing commit. Is that gonna work? Blah 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 blah. Okay. Yep. Ah, I do have a failure. It's in test send queue send. Okay, I expect that to be a problem, obviously. Oh, there's another one. Test handle match. You see, just adding a footer to an application like this looks simple, but it's not always simple. Okay, so what do we have here? Test send queue. Test send queue. Test send queue. Okay, that's pretty simple. Yeah, that's just checking the... Okay. test and queue, we are at line 52. Of course, the JSON dump is different, that's for sure. It should have footer. No. Right. Well, that was expected. Um, no. Sorry, but no. How'd you do that? That's correct. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this formatting, but I guess that's it'll have to do. Okay, let's not worry too much about that. And this one fails because unique constraint fail. Where did that fail? Test rule line 45. Line 45. And it fails because weird. Insert into tracking rules. One dummy. What? What's going on here? Model destination, line 51. What's going on? Session.execute. Oh. Okay, I suppose it's running a flush, and that's why we're having the error. Let us do that in the test itself. Line 45. No, test rule line 45. No, yeah, test rule line 45. Okay. Let's, flush the database. And see if that works. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. Test handle match. Test rule has no attribute flush. Did I make a mistake? DB async session, not flush. Oh, yup. That should be better. I have no idea why this worked before, but I guess that's how it is. Okay, where is it failing now? It's failing at same place? Huh. It's executing, and as a result it's flushing because of the auto flush. But I thought I would have. Oh, hey, hey, that's nice. You are doing asynchronous stuff, my dear friend. Don't forget that. If you just call a coroutine like this and not await it, that's going to be a problem. And it was obviously here. So okay. Now it's failing on the flash itself. Okay, that's good. Okay, so it's unhappy because tracking rule ID. Oh, dbobj is a rule, I suppose, right? Yes, it is. That gonna work? Maybe it's happier that way? Because it's... Like I should add those to the... I should add them. TR and the GR. And the user as well. Well, not sure that's gonna make any change, actually. Let's try it. Still fails. Okay. I don't need to await the add. I'm pretty sure of that. TR, flush it. See if that fails now. Oh yes! Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that dbobj already has a tracking rule. dbobj. Yes, I'm pretty sure that it already has a tracking rule. Okay, let's do things differently then. Yeah, that's why it's failing. It's logical, it should fail. Then let's get, instead of doing this, TR model tracking rule blah blah blah, I'm going to do a TR equal dbobj dot tracking rule. And then I'm patching it. And that's already set. I don't need that. And generation rules, I'm not sure I actually need to do that because I do have generation rules already. They just don't have any destination, right? Yeah, there's one. Okay, so I don't need to recreate more. I don't need to create more of them. There's already one. The user, there's already one as well. Yes. So gr is the first generation rule that is already set in the object. Does this work? Missing greenlet. Okay, that's different. It's calling append. Is it doing an execute? Oh, that's weird. You mean the append has to be... No, I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna work. I think append is not an async function and is going to tell me that I can't await something that is... No? Did I save my file? Yes. Yes, it's failing because... okay. Alright, so let's do things differently then. Model.destination, and let's set its generation rule to gr. And I should add that. Ooh, sorry. Gradle spawn hasn't been called. Ah, that's a different place. The flush works. The result fails. Means I'm trying to do... Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with this? Result in async for no, notification. Okay, it's a notification. Okay, DB object handle. Filters. And the filters, they fail. Okay, it's trying to get the filters. Okay, and the filters, they haven't been set. And it's trying to, yeah, I expect filters to be a relationship, and I can't have that. Okay, nice. Then I should say I have no filter. So don't worry about the filters. Do it again. Okay, still failing at trying to get the filters. Right. Yes. Or I could just, patch that and be done with it. Because generation rules, they can have filters, right? In the model. A generation rule. Yes, a generation rule has filters, but it's a relationship. Okay. Okay. Then it's going to consider its filters. I can, I suppose, get the object from the database again. Because a rule here has a select related method that is going to get the destination of the filter. So I could do that in the test rule. Okay, let's try this. Oops, sorry. Rule equal await db obj select related. No, that's not it. That's not done. That gives you a select that you still have. Right, that gives you a gigantic select that you still have to execute. Await so, db async session dot execute select db object dot select related. Oh, does it give you a select, right? Already, I think so. Yes, that's already the select. I don't need that. Okay, where filter by id equal db obj dot id or get. That seems better. Get db obj dot id. Right, execute this. That should return a single instance. It should be rule. I think it returns a single instance, or is it? It's not get. I don't remember how you do the gets in SQL Alchemy. Okay, let me get back to that. I know you can do a get session.get or query.get. No, not query.get, session.get. Right, so it's db async session.get. Oh, and I can't have the select related? Or can I? Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be able to get that, but it's fine. Maybe that'll work. Let's try it. Oh yes, we have already established that this was a bad idea. Let us try again. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it would be a problem. Yeah. Okay, I can do the gets. It's fine. Execute this. Filter by ID equal this. And that's the result. Scala 1 should get me the rule from the result. I like that much better. I have no idea how this worked before. It shouldn't have worked actually. Anyway, let's try the entire test suite again. Alright, hopefully that's gonna work this time. We'll see. Time to finish my tea. This is taking much longer than I thought. It's almost 6 here, and we've been at it for like 3 hours or something. But we're going to finish it. Almost. There is one line that is not covered and I need to add a test for it. Notification. And that's line 27. Yes, okay. I want to be able to compare email notification contents with other things. That's trivial. Really trivial. Let us add a rule, a test for it. Fine. That's in FMN rule. Notifications, do I have one? FMN rules notification. I do not. Huh. Well, interesting. Okay. I shouldn't be copying files, but I want to keep the SPDX prefix. Okay. I just want to test one thing. Test compare other. I do not need all this. I just need a notification. Actually, yes. I need an email notification. Content. And ISC notification content. That should be fine. Okay. Content equal email notification content of headers equal nothing. Do I have a default value for headers? No. And body equal empty string, and footer has a default value. Okay. Other equal ISC notification content, and that has to and message. Okay. To dummy message equal dummy. And that should be all I need to do actually. Very, very, very simple. Test compare other. Let's try that first. Okay. It wants a 2 and a subject. There is too much. Okay. Are you happy now? Is this better? Thank you, Pydantic, for being so Pydantic. I think that if I run all the tests now, I should have 100% coverage. What do you think? It's gonna pass or not? Fingers crossed. You should set up a vote. Are my tests gonna pass now? Oh, 85% think yes, and it's a no. That'll be fun. Getting close. So close. Well, they should all pass. The question is, am I going to get 100% coverage? And it's a yes! I have it! Okay, so now that I have tested that, I want to push it. Git push setup stream fork. Do it. Thank you, GitHub, for the URL. By the way, the GitLab used to in GitLab's output, you had this command, you had this URL that you could click on way before GitHub implemented it, like years before. So I guess that's a good idea that has been shared around. Add a footer to email notification. Okay. The footer contains the link to the rule that generated the notification. Do it. And we now have only to wait for the CI to pass. And I think I can test quickly what's missing, like black and lint, but it should be okay. It should be all right. I'm gonna test those locally, so it's done, and we can be fairly sure that CI is gonna pass. I hope that was interesting. I've had a lot of hurdles for getting that to work. It looked much simpler than it was actually was, but I'm happy we got around to doing it and finished it during this stream. I hope that was interesting for you guys. Let me look at people in the chat. Oh, quite a few actually. That's cool. I hope that was interesting to you all. That's installing now. So CI is going to try and pass in GitHub at the moment. But it should be fine. I mean, it passed locally. Well, tests passed locally. I'm testing the other two main checks here. So, but they're already checked by pre-commit, so it should be all good. Let me look at my changes. See if I forgot a print somewhere. Oh no, no! Obviously I did. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, well done, Aurélien. And I thought I was almost finishing it. So that's good. Yeah, that reminds me that I need to add that to my configuration file in Ansible. Good thing to wrap up. Yep, all that is good. Correct, correct. Alright, that's what I want. That's weird. That's useless. Test consumer, line 147. No? Oh, 150. Yes, that is totally unnecessary. Um, correct. Yay. Yeah, that still looks weird, but that's fine. It'll do. Okay. Yeah, this has become much more complex, but that's unavoidable. Okay, that wasn't really necessary, but I think clarity is always good to add. Yeah, that should have failed since a long time, but that's fine. Okay, test notification for the small thing. Okay, all right, let me amend my commit and remove the print. Okay, I'm going to push that to GitHub again, but first I'm gonna let that finish. Done for black, and now I think it's time. It's linting, so it's rough. Rough is really cool. Does a ton of things. It is fast, but that's not the main feature for a linter, I think, but it does a ton of things. So well done, folks. Can't wait. What's here? All right. Um, and update my pull request. Okay, now we're good. The changelog is here. Yeah, I know. Let's refresh. No print anymore. Okay. Well, I hope that was interesting. Um, and you could follow me around in my various places. We touched a lot of different places, documentation, and even source code sometimes. So, but I hope you liked it. It's back at it. I'm just gonna finish these just for peace of mind. But yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. And Camille is gonna happy that somebody fixed their issue. So hopefully everybody is gonna be happy to get notifications that have a link to the rule that generated it, so they can tweak it or change the settings or disable a rule that generates a ton of notifications. Psycho-PG2 of course takes more time because it's in C, so it has to be compiled, but we'll get there. Okay, all good. Alright, so I think we're good to go. And yeah, I'm gonna end there. I hope that was interesting to you all. Um, right. I hope that was interesting to you all. I'm going to try this new thing in OBS where I can change the scene. Oh, that didn't work really as expected. Nice try. Anyway, anyway, um, I'll tweak that another time, I think. All right. See you next time. Hey, look, we've created the PR number 1000 exactly. All right. See you next time, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And next time will be on next Friday. I may be in a different setup, but maybe not. Well, you'll see. I don't know yet what I'm going to be working on next Friday, but you'll see. And maybe if you have ideas during the week of things that I could have a look at during next Friday, store there somewhere and come to the stream and suggest it in the chat. I'll be happy to have a look. All right. See you later, folks, and enjoy. Have a good weekend.